basically, now what about through any other extraterrestrials besides the Orions, whether it's Palladians or others that I've heard that have been in this area, in this realm?
Oh, very interesting you mentioned that. Yeah, go on.
But and I know there's some that have been, you would maybe call them more on the negative side, which have, I think they're, from what I heard, are being displaced pretty much as opposed to the more positive.
My contact, Abena, recently they were attacked. She told me one night we were having a contact. They were being attacked by a fleet of 27 craft from the Orions. They were Orions, but they were reptilians from Rigel, the star Rigel, and they were being attacked over here in Orange County. Or actually, no, it was actually in Africa. I'm sorry. She told me it was in Africa, and she had to fly out. One night I was filming. I thought it was her reconnaissance craft that I was filming, and she later told me that the craft that thought was hers, her reconnaissance craft, really wasn't. It was called. She told me it was an Xenia Orion battleship called Xenia, and they were flying off. It was a battleship. They were flying off to Africa to confront these reptilians from Rigel that were doing something over in. They were harassing one of their colonies over there in Africa, a base they have, and so they had to fly.
So there is a confrontation between certain groups of extraterrestrials as opposed to certain other ones, you're saying?
Exactly. They're not friends. She warned me about these Orion reptilians from Rigel. She told me they're cannibalistic towards humans, and they're very dangerous, and they're traitors. And she told me their physical anatomy to some extent. She said they have 2 hearts, and they have a large liver. And she told me some other things about them, but she told me they destroyed that fleet of 27 that was coming out to harass their people over there in Africa, in one of their colonies.
So, okay, but what about other extraterrestrials of positive, we can call them positive or light or whatever, like Pallades or what other areas?
Yeah, there's a wonderful alliance. In fact, Abena has told me that, I'm sorry, what?
Because I've heard there's like a federation. That's what I've heard, some sort of...
Exactly. And she told me there's like thousands of planets involved, thousands of people. And she told me, incidentally, that she comes from a mixed marriage. And I never knew this before. I thought she was fully Orion, but she told me she's half Pleiadian now. And she was originally born on the Era, the same planet that Billy Meyer's Pleiadians come from. And that she comes from a mixed, her father was half Orion, and her mother was Pleiadian, and she was actually, and her father and mother lived on Orion, lived on Era, in the Pleiades. And this was all new to me because I never knew it before until she instructed me about it and told me, and she said that many of the Orions will do that. They're intermarry. But she chooses to live back on Orion after, they get born and stuff like that. Many of them will go back to Orion. They feel more of a calling to Orion. So Abena, my contact, told me that that's what happened with her. She chooses to live in the Orion constellation instead of Era in the Pleiades. But she goes back to her family and visits quite often. And
is where she's from, as she's disclosed to you, that it's as far as physical attributes, is it sort of...
The planet. She told me the planet, the name they call it is Sektu, S-E-K-T-U, and she told me that they live underwater.
Well, some things are happening out there, huh? Anyway, as we were talking, you were referring to they are... basically, you were talking about Abena being of mixed race and
half Pleiadian and half Orion.
And that, but my wondering is, you're not aware of any physical contact with other of their of any of the Orions of her kind or Pleiades, physical or spiritual connection with any other of anybody within humanity?
Contact?
Yeah.
I haven't really asked her too much about that yet.
Okay.
I will, though.
Yeah, because it seems like there's a lot of information that's being reiterated that seems too much commonality. That's almost like they're like dropping in information, disclosing stuff almost simultaneously. To me, it's pretty strange, but it's pretty. And it's not. This doesn't seem like the first time. And it's like coincidental, that it's all happening at the same time.
Sure.
So my question is in your contact with your information with her, she's been also obviously flying around and she's got now a new ship, I understand. Actually, everybody, if you see that post, I guess that's the newest of her spacecraft that she has. But she does utilize her methodology, or their I guess what is the best word? The technology that they move around. You were making it's like a plasma-like effect when they travel their spacecraft. Because when you look at it, it looks sort of like almost like liquid when it moves. That's what the plasma inference, it seems like, or something. Almost like.
Yeah, she told me they're utilizing a tachyon core, which runs on plasma. Which they get the plasma from the center of the Earth, and they get it from stars. They get it from the core of stars. She told me a lot of the plasma they're able to get it, and they can fill their. She told me the name of the sphere inside the ship. It's like a little sphere that they fill up with this plasma, and when they fill that sphere, I think she told me it's called an exicon sphere or something like that. Exicon, X-I-C-O-N, exicon. It's a sphere. They fill it, and she told me that the ship can run on it for 45 years after they fill it with the plasma. But anyway, they will generate the tachyons, and they modulate those things, and when they want to warp and go faster than light and jump from here to the Pleiades in like 3 minutes. I mean, she told me it only took her like 3 minutes to get from Earth to the Pleiades just about a month ago when she had to do some travel in there. When
so
she
basically, well, if they go faster than the speed of light, they're actually bending space and going through wormholes.
Exactly. Bending space and time, cutting it right down. And they just jump, hyperleap jumps, and it's way over my head because I haven't actually gone on a ride yet. That's in the works. That's what I'm preparing for, and she's promised me to take me and everything like that. So that's what's coming up from down the line here.
And let me get you, because I know that would be a trip in itself. I'm gonna have to have you back after you get your ride, so to speak. That would be extraordinary.
Yeah.
When did she propose that you're going to probably be going on this flight with her?
Maybe several months.
Wow. So
this was a month ago that she said that too, so maybe 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, something like that.
Wow. That's pretty good. Now, is there preparation that she's been telling you have to prepare for this flight?
Well, she told me I already meet all the requirements since we've had contact, and she's been teaching me in the protocol, and but now she has to just educate me on the code